hope you are doing well. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. Welcome. It's so good to see you. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back again. Today, I'm bringing you your favorite, and that is Faith Talks. I don't know why every time I sing this jingle, I laugh. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys are doing well. It is literally, today is the 20-something of November. It is that time of the year where people are reflecting back on the year to see what they have achieved, to see what they have not achieved, to see what they can do better and what they can change in their lives. And I really hope that is a time for every single one of us, because we need that in order to improve our lives. We need that in order to become better people, right? Also, my plant behind me is growing. So if I hit it, at any point during the video, please forgive me, you guys. If it shakes, it's because it's literally flourishing. And that's why I bring you guys Faith Talks, so that you guys can also flourish in your walk with God. Okay, so let's get into the video. Today we're going to be looking at Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2. And before I just go into the reading of the word, I just want us to just reflect on the year. And I've been in a position where I was looking back on the year, you know, looking at the ups, looking at the downs, reflecting on what worked, what didn't work, why didn't it work. I found myself going back to the goals that I wrote at the beginning of 2019, which I just dodged down quickly because I realized that the year has started and that I need to work towards something. So I thought that instead of you guys finding yourself in the same position that I found myself beginning of the year this year, where I was just literally like thinking of, oh my God, what do I want to do this year, that we go through it together in this Faith Talks, and that we just speak about why it's important for us to have a vision of where we are going, and to just write it down, and just to trust God for whatever it is that we want him to accomplish in our lives. Okay, guys, so like I said, today we're going to be reading from the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 2. And just to give a background story of what was happening here, Habakkuk felt or was complaining to the Lord, asking him, so Lord, for how long must I call for your help? How long must I suffer? How long are you going to let me cry out to you in violence? How long is it going to be? And then he started complaining to the Lord, just saying, God, are you ever going to answer me? Is it ever going to come through? And that to me sounded like a lot of us this year, or at least myself, where I was just asking God about certain visions, certain dreams that I have, and just asking God, but when are these going to come true? You've been saying they're going to come true. Is it not going to be this year? Is it not going to be anytime soon, So Habakkuk find himself in a position that a lot of us find ourselves in. And eventually in chapter 2, verse 2, the Lord now starts answering to him. And when he answers, he says to Habakkuk, then the Lord replied, write down the revelation and make it plain on tablets, so that a herald may run with it, for the revelation awaits an appointed time. So I just went a bit into verse 3, A. And, it was very important for me to understand, why is it that God commanded Habakkuk to write down the vision? Why is it important for us, even as God's children, to have a vision, not only have it, but also write it down? What's so important about writing it down? Wow, guys, this leaf is actually, yes, I think that's better. Yeah, so why is it so important for us to write our visions down? Why is it so important to make it plain? I mean, God could have just said, you know what, envision what you want to be, or envision what you want to achieve from this. Just keep it in your head and I will show up in the appointed time. But God was so specific to Habakkuk to say, write it down. Not even just write it. If you remember back in the day, back in, Rahulu Moses days, they used to write on stones, and they called that tablets, and he says to to Habakkuk, write it down on tablets, make it plain, so that those who come, in other versions it says, those who come after you may be able to read and see what you have written and run with it. And so for me, it just showed me that the visions that God give us sometimes are not even for us to understand, but they are also for generations that come after us to be able to carry on the legacy that God has perhaps called us to live. And so the reason I wanted to bring this version of Faith Talks, where we really just reflect on the year, but also not even dwell on the wrongs or the mistakes that we have done, but just to, envision a better tomorrow. Why is it so important for us to literally just write things down? And so this year, the one book that I've been enjoying so much is this book over here called A Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. And a friend of mine got this book for me last year for my birthday. And I used to hate reading books, except if they were textbooks. And so I just picked up the book and I was like, let me just see what this is about. And Shonda Rhimes is basically writing about a year where she decided that she's going to say yes to everything that scares her, everything that gives her anxiety, everything she does not want to involve herself with. She's going to say yes to it and see what happens. And so when she started saying yes to the things that she wanted, she started seeing her life turn around. She became the great Shonda Rhimes that we know her to be today. And so just to bring that back, one of the things that she wrote in her book was the importance of having a vision board, of having writing her vision down and just having it known. Every time she looks at that vision, every single morning she wakes up, it may not be every single morning, but every time she wakes up, she looks at the vision and sees whether she's in line with the vision, whether the things she's saying yes to are actually leading her to the vision or not. And so in this book of Habakkuk, when God says to Habakkuk, write down the vision, write down the revelation, write down your goals, write down your dreams. And the reason that is so important, and I've seen that in my life, I think I've started writing my goals down in the past 2 to 3 or 3 years. And not to say that before that I didn't have goals and visions. I did, but I had them in my head. But something changed the minute I started writing them down, because every time I achieve something, I go back to those goals and see whether it's any of the goals that I've written down, it's any of the dreams. Sometimes when we are so afraid to write it down, because it's almost like you're making things official. It's almost like you're saying, God, I'm trusting you for this thing. If you've been looking for a job for the past 5 years, if you put it down on your vision board, or if you write it as part of your 2020 goals and you actually put it down, it to me just feels like something that's official, something that needs to happen, something that I have an appointment for, something that it's almost like an agreement that I have with God to say, God, I'm trusting you for this in this year. I'm trusting you for this vision in this year. And something just changed when I started doing that. So every single year, I will go into my book, into my journal, and I would literally write what I envision myself to achieve in the year. So if, for example, I see myself buying a car this year, then I will write in 2020, I'm gonna buy a car, in 2020, I'm gonna do this. It takes a lot of thinking, I will have, when it comes to work, this is what I want to achieve. When it comes to my spiritual life with God, where do I see myself at the end of 2020? Now that I'm doing YouTube, I'll have a new segment for YouTube. So where do I see myself in 2020 as far as YouTube is concerned? Financially, where do I see myself? Spiritually, emotionally, where do I see myself? Do I see myself being the same person? Do I see myself having grown from something? And I must tell you, this is so real to me, because last year I remember writing down, or this year rather, the beginning of the year, I remember writing down and just committing that, God, this year I want to be a forgiving person. I want to forgive more easily. I want to love people more easily. And I can tell you that I'm seeing myself becoming that person. And every time, I don't watch or see my goals every single day, but whenever I reflect on my life and where I'm at now, and I go back to see whether I've achieved those things or not, it just warms my heart, guys, to see that, oh my God, you've been so faithful with this. I've trusted you to come through for me with finding a better job, and you literally showed up for me. I trusted you to be able to save 10,000 rands this year, and you came through for me. I go as far as writing my goals for travel as well. At the beginning of the year, I had Bali down. I'd written Bali down. I wrote and I said one African country, and I had Europe. I didn't get the chance to go to Europe, but I did go to Bali, and I went to one African country. So it just goes to show that when we write our visions and dreams down, God partners with us, and he's able to see us through those things, and he's able to even give us the will to work towards those things. Because sometimes you want something, but you forget about it, and you just file it in your head and you forget about it. When it happens, you don't even acknowledge God to say, God, thank you so much for pulling through on this vision that I had, or this dream that I had. And so when we write it down, it just becomes so official to say, listen, this year, come rain, come sunshine, I'm working towards this goal. I'm working towards this dream. And so, guys, I really encourage you to just take time, even if it's just a whole day where you switch off your phone, switch off your social media, just disconnect from the world and just connect with God. Ask God about what he sees you achieving in the year 2020. Ask him what he sees you becoming in the year 2020. And just write it down. Write it down. And sometimes we write it down, not just for ourselves, but just so when others come, when we are not there, the legacy that we want to leave for our children one day, when they come, they see, oh my word, my mom wanted to open a big business and become a big successful woman, and so I'm going to run with that vision, and here in verse 3, chapter 2 verse 3, yes, it says, for the revelation awaits an appointed time. Do not be hasty with your dreams. Just because 6 months have passed, a year has passed, 2 years has passed, and you don't see your dreams coming to fruition, you don't see your vision coming to life, do not be disappointed. Do not lose courage. Do not lose the dream. Do not lose the vision. God says every single dream that he has, that you have, and every single vision that you have, every single goal that you want to achieve, it has an appointed time. There's a time that God has appointed to make sure that it flourishes. Think of this. If you go to somebody else's wedding, right? If you go to somebody else's wedding, and while you're attending the wedding, you stand up and say, I'm pregnant. I know where the hell that example came from. But you stand up and you literally just stand on top of the table and say, I'm pregnant. People will hate you. The bride and the groom will hate you because you are revealing, not that you're revealing something that shouldn't be revealed, but you're revealing it at a time that is not appropriate. You're revealing that thing at a time that is not appointed, and so it's the same with God. If God has something that he wants you to achieve, if he has something he wants you to become, he's not going to do it prematurely. He's not going to do it before it's time. He's not going to do it before you are ready, and before he makes you ready, before he gives you everything that you need to be ready. A lot of people I know like to speak about marriage. I can't wait to be married. Why is my Prince Charming not coming? Well, maybe he's not coming because you're not ready. There's things you need to deal with. You still need to learn how to forgive. You still need to learn how to love wholeheartedly. You still need to learn how to love unconditionally. You still need to learn patience. So there's a lot of things that God withholds from us, not because he doesn't want to give us, but because it's not the appointed time. And so the vision awaits the appointed time. But the fact that you are writing it means that you trust God to bring it to fruition. So go ahead and write your visions down. Take your notebook, sit with God, pray before you do it. Ask God what he sees of you, where he envisions you to be in the next year, in the coming year. And when you get that, write them down as your 2020 goals. Whew, wow, that's it for the video, you guys. I need water. After that, I need me some water. Thank you so much for joining me again for another Faith Talks, and thank you for the love and support and the conversations that you keep going in the comments. You guys honestly and truly encourage me to keep on doing Faith Talks. At some point I was like, Faith Talks is not getting the views that I wanted to get, I'm gonna stop. But you guys have literally showed me that this is not even for a lot of. I was telling Tirani, who is a subscriber, I've also subscribed to her channel, do check her channel out. She sent me, you know, her devotion book and her Bible while watching Faith Talks. You guys, my heart melted. Like, I literally cried because I was like, God, this is what Faith Talks is about. I'm not trying to get views, I'm not trying to be famous, I just want to share the word of God. And so when it hits the right people, and when you guys receive it like you do, it really, really warms my heart and really encourages me to keep going. So thank you guys so much for that. Make sure that you do all the right things, and that is to like, share, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel and become part of the family. And so yeah, that is it from me, you guys. It is a wrap. I will see you guys soon. Bye.